Hey everybody. Hopefully this is on and I'm late. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday. I'm scatterbrained. I'm trying to fly this by the skin of our teeth and I have no idea what we're going to go over actually. So hello everyone. Welcome. Happy Friday. It's November. It's hard to believe that we're already here. It's absolutely insane. I had a bunch of stuff planned to show off, but as time has gotten closer and closer and closer to the date and then ended up being today, I don't have any of the pins that we had thought we'd have by now. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. Some of the stuff that we're doing with the Cerakote guy, with Aaron at Area 15, is a little bit complicated. We're testing out some new processes. And so that's part of the reason why we don't have it yet. So you'll have to wait to see that cool stuff that he's got. Had to do some remachining on some products, so I don't have those to show off because we're getting them fixed. So it's just kind of a cobbled together live stream for this month, which honestly, in years past, we haven't done live streams a lot of times in November, December because I've just been too busy. So thought about as we got closer earlier in the week, I thought about canceling it, but we'll just go ahead and give it a go. And hopefully some of the stuff that I cover will be helpful. And then we'll kind of go from there. So yeah, Aaron's got like 300 pens. Some of them are Keras pens. Some of them are everyday Keras basics. So it's the whole shebang. So we'll go ahead and start with the few resin vertex stuff that I have to go over. I just polished these up real quick. These are going to be between now and the end of. I don't know if we'll have these before by the end of this month, but these two are two of the different colors of acrylic that we've got in the works for vertexes. So the green one is the one that I kind of teased. We actually did this material or a very, very similar material in the prototype decagraphs. Super nice, like green, real shiny, polishes nice, and then there's like a silver hue as the green kind of fades. Cool color. I know the vertexes or the decagraphs that we released didn't turn out as nice as we'd like them to. These vertexes are going to look absolutely stunning. Like I barely even just touched these. Like I did a quick sand and polish on these pieces and they really pop. So once we actually put some time and effort into that green, it's going to be even better looking. So super color kind of, I think we even released those as kind of a Christmas holiday end of the year prototype for the decagraphs when we release that color. So kind of be the same time frame for these vertexes. And then this blue, when I ordered this blue and black, the raw rods look a lot different than this. So there's going to be a bunch of variance in this color in terms of how much blue and how much black is on it. But the black is a really like fully opaque black. And then the blue is kind of goes from a deep to a like a bright with like silver struck through it. I thought that they would look a lot more similar to Maelstrom blue, but it doesn't look anything like the Maelstrom blue. This is like the blue that's in this is almost like, it's more like smoke, the way the swirl is through it. Looks super cool. I'm actually kind of stoked to get that one. Hopefully there's a few blems. I can squirrel one away from my own collection. I haven't written with a Vertex in a long time, and that one specifically looks super, super cool. I'm stoked to see that. So these will be two of, I don't know, we'll probably have three or four more. Not three or four. We'll probably have between 3 and 5 by the end of the year, hopefully. Acrylic Vertex is available. So those will be 2 of the colors. We did find like a very few more bodies of the marmalade that we'll be able to fix. So there will be a few more marmalade pins that hit the site. We had some in the back that got shuffled aside during the machining process because we thought they were going to be unfixable, but that's not the case. They will be able to be fixed. So if you miss that, there'll be, I don't know, maybe 10 more of those before we completely run out. Don't quote me on exactly 10, somewhere around there. Depending on how many of them we can actually fix. So hopefully we'll get those out before the end of the month. That way we can be done with that project. I'm ready to kind of move on. And if you read the email yesterday, we are doing another run of Mega Cubes. So I got a ton of emails after that, which is fine. Great. Like, I'd rather know ahead of time how many Mega Cubes we need to make, because we kind of, at first, we're like, we'll just do a few of the Mega Cubes. But it looks like there's a lot of people interested in them. So Bill's going to order a second batch of that material, and we're just going to go straight from this batch that we're doing now and go straight into the next one until we basically have enough to fulfill all those requests. So if you've emailed me, I've added you to the list. Hopefully I've responded to you. If you haven't emailed and you're curious about pricing or availability, shoot me or the inbox an email about the Mega Cubes, because we are going to have those available for the end of the year. So the cost is, we charge like basically live shipping. The cost on the Mega Cubes is $650 before shipping. And then basically what we do, we get your address, or we put it in. We have to ship it FedEx Express in the United States. And we're estimating around $65 to $70 for shipping based off the ones we shipped last time. Now, the last time we shipped was in 2022. Shipping rates have gone up. So we're estimating that it's going to be between $65 and $70. So somewhere around $700 to $720 shipped for that product. It's expensive, but the majority of that cost is in the actual product itself. When we sold them in 2022, they were $600, and then live shipping. And then we've shipped 2 internationally in 2022. One of them was $125, and one of them was $145 just for shipping. So we've done it before, and we can do it again. It is going to be even more expensive to ship those internationally. But that's not out of the question. If an international customer is like, hey, I want one of these, we just have to actually put in the shipping with the weight and the dimensions, because while the piece itself is like 28 inches by like 3 inches by 3 inches, they're doubled boxed. So like they're wrapped in like 2 layers, 1 layer of foam, of soft thin foam, and then a big layer of foam, then a big bubble wrap that goes in a box. Then that is wrapped in bubble wrap, and that goes in a second box. So we learned our lesson after the first one shipped, and somebody at some point dropped it and damaged it while it was packed, like it was dropped in transit. And it went all the way through the external box and through the bubble wrap and made a big ding in the side of it. So we are really careful about wrapping them. And since that first one got damaged, when we changed the shipping, the packaging, we shipped another 20 something of them out, and none of them were damaged in transit. So they weigh, I think, around 17 pounds. So pretty heavy. I mean, it's literally a near 30-inch. It's like 28 and some change inches long, solid aluminum. Yes, it has the holes drilled in it for the Delrin inserts, but that doesn't remove a lot of weight. There's still a ton of weight in there. But you figure a cube, the regular 9-hole cubes that are, well, I guess I don't have any back there right now. The regular 9-hole cubes are over 2 pounds. And there's 11 basically of those just all the way across. So big, it's big, it weighs a lot, it takes up a ton of space, you know, but there are multiple people that have purchased them and have got another. I mean, we've shipped out, I think the first two, the initial prototype batch was like 10 of them, and I think we ended up only shipping 8 of those. Well, I think we sold 9, 1 got damaged, so we had 2. And then the first production run one was between 10 and 15. And so we thought, oh, we'll do another between 10 and 15. So we tooled up, I think Bill bought enough to do like 9 or somewhere between 9 and 12 of the first batch of this newest one. And so I've got 25 people that have contacted us already that we have on the list. And so we're going to order a second batch of material so that we can go straight into that. Ian, we've done cubes in the natural type 2 or type 3 anodized before. They look weird. I used to have one in here, but I think somebody wanted it, so we sold it. They look weird because they kind of look faded. The sides of them will be a little bit faded. So we would potentially, and it's the only color. The 2 natural colors, black or the 2 type 3 hard anodized colors are the only 2 colors that we'll do in the future on cubes. We just get too much anodized loss from the other colors. So it would have to be that either the black or the natural if we do those again. Or when we do those again. It's going to be more of a when than an if. The problem is that it significantly raises the price on those. Like it ends up being somewhere like $10 just to anodize each cube, those colors. Especially after they raise their prices. It's almost cheaper to do Cerakote, honestly. But that's not true. Cerakote's like $20, $25. So, but there's no way for us. So we got questions yesterday already with a couple people asking about coloring the Mega Cube. There's no way that we can, it's out of the question for anodize. We'll even hard coat. it won't look good, number one. And number two, the employees at the anodized place will damage them. They'll be unsellable. They're just not careful enough with our product. So we're going to test potentially, or I'm going to talk to Aaron about the cost for doing a mega cube in Cerakote. But I imagine it would add in material cost, time, and then the whole shebang for him to do a fixture for something that weighs that amount. It would drive the cost up exponentially, probably $100 to $200 to do a Cerakote mega cube. So, but we'll ask him, because I had a couple of people ask about potentially getting Cerakote or anodized mega cubes. So next time I see Aaron, I'll ask him about that. So that's kind of the update. We did release cubes. I don't know. We sold a ton of them. In fact, some of them might even be sold out again already. So I don't know if potentially we'll end up doing regular sized cubes after the mega cubes. I know we were going to prototype some alternative sizes of cubes after the first mega cube batch, but because we're going to do 2 back-to-back, that'll kind of push that off. But Bill's talked about doing like a 15 or a 12 with like a slot in it. Just some different styles of rectangles. So they're not going to be a cube. It's going to be a rectangle with different setups, different hole quantities in them. So we're going to kind of, I know he still has plans to do that. I just don't know if it's going to get done before the end of the year, if that's going to get pushed off until 2026. But we've been talking about that for a while, and Bill's wanted to do it for a while. And since we're tooled up to do cubes, part of the reason that we ended up doing cubes is we had somebody approach us about doing a quantity of the standard 9-hole cubes as like, I think he wanted 30 or 25 or something. And so it was a big enough batch for us to be like, okay, this custom order, we'll go ahead and do it. And then we might as well do enough so we can sell some and then do some 99 cubes and make cubes and, break into the other manufacturing that we were doing on that machine just to do some of this stuff. So that's kind of where we're at with the mega cube stuff. So going from there, I don't have a lot of the stuff that like I said, I don't have a lot of stuff that I wanted to roll out. Black Friday's around the corner. I already kind of talked about in the email that we're going to do another Ultra Black release. This will be the final Ultra Black release of the EDK. So we are going to do EDKs, although we're down to I think I have less than 100 EDKs left to Cerakote or anodize. So the Ultra Black will be one of the last EDKs that we do before we're basically out of stock, and that's officially the book is shut, except for some random stuff that we'll sell in some grab bags or whatever, like the colors mix and match stuff. So that's the EDK is getting real close to being discontinued. And the retract is pretty close behind that. I think we've got about 300 retracts. Excuse me. No, I don't think we have any brass or copper. Well, we sure don't have any copper retracts. We might have one batch of brass retracts left. I don't know. I'll have to double check with that. So we're getting to the end of that. There won't be an Ultra Black retract right now. I didn't have time. I didn't have a chance to get those set up, tumbled, and sent out for black. With this batch of black, we did we're going to do modals and then the EDKs and one other pen for ultra black. And then we're gonna have a special release basic in all black. That's gonna be a new like a whole new, what's the term I'm looking for here? Like a new body shape that we're going to release on Black Friday. That's kind of a Thanksgiving and Black Friday combo. We're internally calling it the Tactical Turkey Basic. It's going to have a little engraving on the side that we laser etched in it. It's going to have a cool little special here, like little special, you can't see it. Like we did this cool artwork of like a tactical turkey with a pen, like a pen gun, kind of cheesy, some night vision goggles. Yeah, so it's going to come with it. So we're going to do some of those on Everyday Karis. Just kind of, it's going to be one of the only anodized. Actually, it will be the only anodized basic that we release outside of the quarterly subscription. So that's a, if you like that kind of thing, you want a black one specifically, it's going to be super cool. Like I haven't messed with the new grip style. The pen looks pretty cool too. It's a totally different take on it. It's a little more, I think it looks a little more like throwback to our original, like the Karis original pens. It's got a lot more like flats on it than it does like round stuff. So you'll see that one shortly. As soon as it gets back, we'll start teasing it with the sticker, and so that'll be on Everyday Karis. Along with, I think we have 6 Cerakote colors. We got asked to do more of the blue titanium, so I'm doing, I think, 1 or 2 pens in blue titanium. We've got the brass basic 3 that's going to be the beginning of December. We've got and then I've got some test, some cool like test, like I asked Aaron to do some test things that are kind of like not really splatter, but I don't know. We'll see how they turn out. You're just gonna have to bear with me on this like combination of different colors. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see. I don't have a Google, like, honestly, Jay, like I threw this together. I didn't even pull anything for a giveaway. So I don't actually have anything lined up this month for that. I apologize. I know normally we do a giveaway and I didn't do it, but we're going to be doing a bunch of giveaways here shortly. In fact, we're going to be doing a ton of giveaways on Everyday Karis, like a lot. So I apologize for not doing a giveaway on the live stream, but we're going to be offering a bunch of giveaways, which kind of like leads me into some other stuff that I'll transition into here in a second. Let me just hear. Ninjamoto's been trying to figure out how the clip and slider are attached. Oh, so okay, so the these are all attached internally. So there's, I don't have the tools to actually make it work, but this piece is threaded on the inside of this, and we screw, there's a tiny screw that goes into that keeps it in place. So you take the screw out and then pull this out, and then the slider drops out. Then the clip, it has a screw that screws into the top of this as well. So it's all internal screws so that you can't really remove them. They're basically permanent. The clips are permanently attached. We use Loctite screws on them. So you can't really switch the clips out at all. You could take the knobs out, the buttons out with a tool. I don't even remember. It's like a 0.050 hex. It's really super tiny hex screw that's in there, and it's really long too. It's like, I want to say it's like 1/4 inch long, because it goes all the way through that button, which is pretty wide. So it goes way in. So it's a long screw. You gotta screw. So it's all hidden internal. Fasteners, basically. So it's part of the reason why that pen is as expensive as it is, because it takes a lot to machine all that stuff. The slider's not so much, or the knob's not so much. Like, the buttons are relatively easy to machine, but the clips and the milling that capture the clip is very intricate, and adds a lot of time to the machining process and the assembly process. So it's one of the reasons why those are more expensive than most of our rollerball pens. So we've temporarily discontinued the Decograph in terms of manufacturing anymore. So what I have available will be what we have available for the foreseeable future. They were never our best-selling pen, and outside of like a few, like the green acrylic ones and brass Decographs sold a lot. All the other colors that we didn't sell very well. The aluminum ones, I still have a hard time like selling them for anything close to being what we have invested in them, in terms of, because it's so time consuming for us to make all those parts. Requires so many different machines, 3 different machines, 2 different lathe setups, or 3 different lathe setups, and a mill setup. We just decided to pause it until there was a market correction on fountain pens, and focus on potentially on the ink and the vertex, and then potentially designing something new that would allow us to make something cool and new that wasn't as expensive, and we could sell for a more competitive price point. What grip styles on Ultra Black modals? I think the modals are just the standard grip section, so it's just gonna be smooth on those. I'm out of stock on a whole bunch of the alternative grip styles for modals. So I'm out of dragon skin. I'm out of, I'm out of fluted. I think the only ones that I have right now are frag in stock. And so I just sent the smooth ones out for those. And part of the reason that we chose those is these are going to be some of the most, like, our Black Friday stuff this year. The Ultra Black stuff is going to be like big time deals, like potentially like lower than 50% off what we would sell those at normal. Like they're going to be like really, really competitively priced stuff. So we chose the stuff that don't have a lot of the extra work put into them. So we're gonna sell them as inexpensive as possible, so we can blow them all out. Like they're gonna be. I planned. I sent tons of pens out in black, so that we could get the cost per piece of anodize as down as low as possible. So there's 3 or 4 different pens. They all got sent out together. The prices are low, so that we can basically blow them out at like really cheap prices. So, let's see. I don't know how many Elton vertexes are left. Not very many. We're getting down to the end of that run. And it's more bodies than it is anything else. That's not necessarily true. So there's a whole bunch of Ultim vertexes that have not been released yet, that have grooves on the taper, on the cap and the body, similar to the grooves that are on the textured Ultim modals. We just haven't released those because I wanted to sell through the majority of the standard ones before we release those. I didn't want to make it super confusing. So there's a bunch of those that we have that just have not been put on this. And by saying a bunch, maybe like between 30 and 50. I'd have to count them. I don't know for sure. That's a bunch when it comes to Ultim vertexes, in my opinion. Like, the batches of those that we ever did were 100 of production runs. And so this is just Josh wanted to put some of those rings, those grooves on both the cap and the body and the two ends. So it's basically from like the taper down, and then from like the midpoint taper down, they're grooved. They have those textured grooves on them, and I think they're even more pronounced on the vertex than they are on the Ultim modals. They just haven't been listed. As far as the standard ones like this, I think we maybe have like 10 or 15 left. And I don't know when we'll do those again. I have a decent nick. I like the Vertex too. And I have, a decent amount of aluminum ones left in stock that we'll slowly go through and sell through with different colors and what have you. And then we'll just kind of pause that until things kind of turn around. Probably. We'll probably, well, I don't know that we'll okay, so are there any plans to have basic styles that will never be repeated, making them more rare? I'm not sure if never is potentially an option. I think we will not make any more. If it were up to me, we will probably discontinue the 2 and the 4. We'll probably discontinue the 2 and the 4. Those are the least popular, and then the 5 is kind of right after that. But I think a lot of people like the 5 because it's shaped significantly different. So those 2 body styles might get discontinued. Now, we'll probably bring them back eventually, especially if we do like a copper one. We'll do some of the 2s. But maybe some of the 2s, maybe some of the 4s. I don't know. But they'll be less likely to see a second machining run of those in aluminum. So I doubt that those will see a second. I doubt that either of those two pens, the 2 and the 4, the 2's been out of stock for a while, and I don't think we'll do that one. We did brass ones specifically because we did the brass subscription. But I don't think that we'll do any more 2s once those are done until we get a bunch of people that request them. And then once the 4s are out of stock, we'll probably discontinue those. So there's potential for that to happen. The version that we're doing with the black, the ultra black, the tactical turkey one, that one will probably have a much smaller release. It's going to be limited, those black ones. And then I think we're going to have an additional amount of those that are potentially available, maybe in other colors or a very small release. But that one will be released specifically for that and then probably discontinued until we do another big special release. And we'll use that kind of template for that one. So that one will be rarer. And it's possible in the future there will be some that we specifically do that are like, hey, this is going to only be available, and then we're going to discontinue it. I don't know. We're still kind of filling that out. We probably will do some burnt orange Cerakote basics at some point. I'm not sure when. Kind of just depends on. That's not one of the Cerakote colors that we're doing right now. So I have one marmalade decograph left, and that's the last one. So there's one left in the bins. So just so you know, we've got one left. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna transition to Everyday Keras, and I'm actually gonna transition. We haven't done this in quite some time. We're gonna do a screen share here. I want to walk through the Everyday Keras site and kind of talk about it. I'm sure most of you have spent some time on it. I hope you guys have spent some time on the Everyday Keras site. Obviously, many of you have purchased it since you're talking about Everyday Keras. And the reason that I want to walk through this is so that I can highlight some stuff about the site specifically, and then kind of talk about steps moving forward. So if you're not signed up for the Everyday Keras newsletter, please consider doing that. This is not something that we send a lot of emails out on. It's much, much smaller than the Keras Pen Co. newsletter. But because we're transitioning to running the newsletters, the Everyday Keras newsletter solely through the Shopify platform, I'm basically running two separate lists. And so there is some stuff that you will receive solely if you're if you're signed up for the Everyday Keras that you might not receive if you're on the Keras Pen Co. So when you first go to the website, this is kind of what you're going to see. If you click off, it minimizes this down to the bottom. You can click on it again if you end up wanting to sign up for it. In terms of the rewards program, this is the rewards program. It's always going to be down here in the right-hand side. It looks different on your phone, obviously. This is because I'm logged in as our test account. So your points will be seen here. It'll show you different ways to earn $1 at 5 points for every dollar, 50 points for liking us on Facebook, 50 points for liking us on Instagram, and then we just added this 75 points if you share our Facebook page. It basically gives you the link to share. So this is just one way that you can save. So you get different points at different tiers that you can use towards purchases. Right now, none of the purchases on the website are excluded from your points. Some of the purchases are excluded from the coupon codes because they require you to spend at least $25. So like the keychain that we released today is only $15. You'd need to spend more than $25 to get that. One thing that your points and the coupons can't be used in conjunction with one another. So that is something to know. If you'd rather use your points, because you can use more points and get bigger discounts. If you have enough points available. There's some people that have a ton of points because they've purchased a lot of pens from us. So there's people that could get their entire multiple pen purchase, like they could get $100 basically of pens free, because it lets you use up to, I think, I don't know specifically. I would have to look. In fact, I'll just double check that way. Actually, I won't do that because this is wigging out now. So if you're curious about the point system, I sent it out in one of the emails. But there's multiple different ways to purchase now, in terms of how you buy. We're expanding to these bundled products, which are discounted and then can have further discounts applied to them. So 2 pen bundles have a percentage off. And then when you shop, the limited release section is going to expand to have more than just items like a 3 pen bundle, which this will go away here shortly. This is only we're going to extend this through the end of November. And then probably add a different bundle for the holidays. And then this was just added today, which is basically the keychain and your choice of one of the remaining aluminum pens, and it's a $4 savings. And then you can apply rewards points to it or coupon codes to it. So there's a bunch of ways to save on here. And part of the reason that we're testing all of this stuff out is that we plan on transitioning the Keras site to Shopify, the Keras Penco site to Shopify, and implementing a whole bunch of this stuff to make things easier and to save more money, rather than just marking stuff down and sending out coupon codes. And eventually the rewards program will have a referral program that will be attached to it, where if you refer people, you get points off. Basically all the different things that other websites do. Turning all that stuff on at once was kind of overwhelming, when I just looked through the logistics of running all of it. So we basically put the rewards points on first, and then the coupon code in with the newsletter, kind of as the first few ways to test things out. And then in terms of the products, we've slowly been rolling out the different bundles, and they're sold they're built in different ways so that we can see how they function on the back end of the site. Because I need to test those products to be able to sell our fountain pens on Keras Penco if and inevitably when we switch the Keras Penco site to Shopify. part of the reason that we're going to switch the Keras Penco site to, I just screwed something up. Part of the reason why we're going to switch the Keras Penco site to Shopify is in the short amount of time that we have. Goodness gracious, I really messed stuff up. Sorry about that, guys. The short amount of time that we've had the Keras Penco site live, or the Everyday Keras site live, it's been a short period of time, this new site, the Shopify site. But we've had a lot of traffic, a lot of sales. We've had 0 issues that we were experiencing that we're currently or previously experiencing on our WooCommerce site. Now, Shopify is nowhere near as robust as WooCommerce is. It doesn't allow us to do stuff like the way that we've been doing things. Having said that, it is just easier and safer and like the whole shebang for you guys to make purchases on if you've shopped on the Everyday Keras site and then you've shopped on the Keras Penco site, the new Everyday Keras site, it's like night and day in terms of how you check out, how you get processed, how you get walked through the entire thing. The ease of checkout on a phone is like completely different. And I think there's a large barrier. There's frustration with, I don't know if you've experienced it personally, but I know we've heard a lot of people complain about how frustrating the Keras Penco site is to use. I want to make a sale. I go in here, I can't figure out how to like this item isn't available, or then when I put it in the cart, it just timed out, or the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And so having spent the last 22 months building multiple different websites, the ease of building a Shopify website and then the translation to the ease of use from a customer perspective just makes too much sense for us not to figure out a way to move the Keras Penco site over. Now, Alicio, you specifically bring up the big thing is the account migration is it is the biggest thing. We were able to migrate everybody from our old WooCommerce Everyday Keras site to the new Shopify Everyday Keras site. Like it pulled in customers and it pulled in orders, and it did that pretty seamlessly. So there's order information in there that we can see. I'm not necessarily sure what customers can see on their ends. However, when I go into somebody's customer account that has purchased since we did the 2 moves, since somebody who purchased at the WooCommerce site and somebody who has made a purchase on the Shopify Everyday Keras site, all of their orders are under that account. I think largely because it matches phone number and email address to customer orders. So when you go to checkout again, it's like, oh, look, this person with this email and this phone number with this name has already made all of these orders. We're going to group them all together, boom, and then it's in there. So it just makes more sense for us to try to do something that is easier for us, even if in the long run will be easier for us, even if in the short term it's going to be kind of problematic and a headache, but will end up being a huge plus for the customer. So with that being said, that's not something that we're going to do before the end of this year. Will potentially be something that we do next year. And I'm not sure how it will impact things like the pen club and things like that, because I'm still trying to figure all that stuff out. So bear with us as we try to make things better for you guys and for us moving forward. So so that's kind of like the reason that I wanted to show that site off. Like, if you're not on Everyday Carousel, you don't shop over there, that's fine. Just know that there's going to be a transition eventually to that type of site for Karis Pen Co. If you don't shop over there, please check it out, especially as the holidays get closer. We're going to have a lot of, I don't want to say nicer stuff, a little bit more. We're going to have quite a few more Cerakote pieces, which just look better and function better than just the standard tumbled aluminum stuff. So we're gearing more of this time of the year of the Everyday Carousel releases towards being a little bit snazzier. So there might be something over there that you might want to purchase. And if you've ever made a purchase over there already, you already have points that you can come pick up. So I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, so if we're going to go ahead and transition to Q&A portion. If you have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer your questions before we kind of wind things down. I don't know. I actually don't even know if I've covered everything that I was thinking about talking about. I guess a couple things. The next quarterly subscription for the basics would technically launch in December, and it will launch in December, but it's going to be the end of December with a January start date. So we'll basically sell it over the end of December and then ship them in the beginning of January, and basically start the year off with the quarterly subscription starting in January. So that quarterly subscription will begin and then end right around the time we're at the 1-year anniversary of Everyday Carousel, which was the end of March, beginning of April. And then we'll basically have the next quarterly subscription starting around our 1-year anniversary of launching Everyday Carousel. The Karis Pen Club for 2026 may see a pause in terms of, or a dramatic restructuring in terms of how we even run it just for the year, if we decide to move forward with moving everything to Shopify. And so Bill and I will have more information on that. But just so you know, if you're a Pen Club member, I know a lot of you are. A lot of the people that watch you guys, I know a lot of you guys are. Or if you aren't now, you have been in the past. It's going to be a temporary pause for sure. It might only be, for a couple months. Then we might start it up with a condensed 2026 season, or we might. I don't know how we're going to do it. It really depends on whether or not we decide to move the site and how that kind of takes place. So just so you're aware of that. I didn't have time to prep for a giveaway today. Sorry, guys. There isn't a form or a giveaway. That's on me. If you want some free, you want to sign up for some free giveaway stuff, I'll tell you this right now. Everyday Carousel Instagram is going to be doing some it might be weekly moving forward, like towards the end of the year, where we're going to be doing a bunch of giveaways on the Everyday Karis Instagram. So if you have an Instagram account, follow us on Instagram. Use the link on the site when you follow us on Instagram, so you get 50 points. But we're going to be giving away a bunch of stuff. The guy that's managing our social media for that is going to be giving away product. It's going to be upticking on the giveaways over there big time. So will there be a subscribers extra with subscription 3? Yeah. So I meant to talk about that. So the quarterly subscription, the brass one that we're running right now, that's going to end at the end of this year, is going to have the third basic in brass and then a fourth, that extra pen. They're out at anodize right now. They're going to come back. I don't have them. They're going to be super cool. They're going to have a copper button on the side. So they're going to be super, super sweet. I'm going to steal one for myself because I think they're going to look awesome. Like, I haven't actually seen them, but the picture in my head, I'm like, oh, these two colors like go really well together. So yes, there is a fourth one coming. So yeah. Yeah. There will be, so yes, so we're gonna have mystery boxes for December. I have it's on my next week's list to plan those out and kind of put them together, because I try to build them ahead of time. But yes, I will be building mystery boxes. There's going to be a rollerball one and a fountain pen one. Don't know what they're going to be specifically. Don't have any pricing ideas. My brain has basically been taken over by the Everyday Karis site and all that stuff. And so I'm a little bit behind on that, but there are going to be at least 2 of them available. Lots of product. And unlike last year where we showed everything that was in them, we're not going to show what's in them this year. There's going to be a lot of value for sure. Like, I would speculate there's going to be like, I don't know. I don't even know yet. There's going to be a decent amount of value, to say the least. But yeah. Yeah, I doubt that we'll, so if we pause, here's the thing. If we pause the pen club, the start of the next pen club, I won't send anybody out of the group. We'll just keep everybody in the Facebook group, and you guys can chat it up. And, if we have product that we would have sold as a pen club exclusive, we'll probably just offer that to the current, like, we'll just extend those people until we relaunch the pen club. Something like that. I don't know. That's probably what we'll do. Yeah, it's going to be, we're going to do a fountain pen one. We're going to do a rollerball one. I'm going to make sure that there's a lot of value in this year's. Like, I have a couple ideas on how to maximize that product specifically, but still kind of in the works. I gotta figure out what pens to choose for it, and then I want to have them all kind of built and ready to go, so that we can just put labels on them and just send them out. So yeah. Any more questions before we close it down? It's been about an hour. I know I've gone over a lot of stuff. Sorry that you guys, daylight savings time, we don't do it here. So I always just say Arizona time. I know it's not a real thing, but when I put the actual time in there, people just, it gets messed up regardless. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry you guys came in late, watched the replay. Yeah. Any questions before we shut it down? I want to make sure everybody gets their questions answered. I know I didn't really have a ton of stuff to go over today. A lot of it was scattered, but I wanted to make sure we did one. There may not be a December live stream in the first of the month. In fact, I will likely, if we do a December live stream, it will be towards the end of December, mid to late December, and it will be kind of a yearly recap and then an update maybe on the website and the pen club and the basic quarterly subscription. So, all right. Thank you guys once again for being here. Things are getting hot and heavy like they always do. I've got a ton of stuff to kind of finalize over the next few weeks before we really get into things. Because basically, I need to have all of the holiday stuff done before the end of the first week of December. So that's my time frame in terms of everything that we have in the works. So my work's cut out for me. Thankfully, the Everyday Care site is up and running, and I don't have to worry about Karis Pen Go until next year. So I will see you next month. We'll do a live stream, even if it's a kind of a wrap up live stream. And it'll happen before we go on our Christmas breaks. It will happen before Christmas, but it'll probably be the week before Christmas. So thanks a lot, everybody, for being here. We'll see you next month for an abbreviated live stream. And then again, if you want free stuff, follow Everyday Karis on Instagram. Use the sign up link on the Everyday Karis site to sign up for that, so you get the bonus points. There's going to be some cool giveaways. Like, we're giving away some of the Cerakote pens. We're giving away some of the brass pens. We're going to give away some unreleased like Cerakote stuff. So he's got a whole bunch of stuff that he's going to give away over there. That's pretty cool. So, all right. Thank you for being here. We'll see you later. Take it easy. Have a good Friday. Be safe.